Well, you know what that theme song means? It means we go out to the west coast of the United States, out to Hollywood, California, where they make them motion pictures that we all love and watch and sometimes can't stand. Ladies and gentlemen, another person we can't stand. Oh, excuse me, Michael Snyder. Hello, Michael.
Wow, you're just so quick with the compliments. Thank you. Hello, Alex, and hi, listeners. We've got new movies opening, one of which, The Way Back, with Ben Affleck playing an addiction-plagued basketball coach. I didn't get to see because of a little traffic jam and screenings, but let's proceed with the big bomb. Well, I'm not going to say big bomb. It's hardly a bomb. The big blockbuster of the weekend, and that would be Onward. Not Onward Christian Soldiers. That would be the Republican mantra. No, Onward is Pixar's latest computer-animated feature film, and it's a visual treat set in a fantasy world where magical creatures, elves and wizards and centaurs and fairies and such, have dispensed with magic and have embraced technology and a banal suburban lifestyle that looks very 1950s, 1960s American sitcom, only the row homes are shaped like mushrooms. I think you get the idea. In this world, two teenage elf brothers, an older outgoing, hot-rodding Dungeons and Dragons playing one. He's voiced by Chris Pratt. And a younger, more timid and reserved one, voiced by Tom Holland. Yeah, Marvel's Peter Quill and Peter Parker are united as animated siblings here. Anyway, they go on a quest to bring back a little magic at the behest of the younger brother. It turns out that their late father was still a purveyor of the mystical arts, and if the boys can use a staff and a spell of his, they can spend one more day with deceased dad. Now, this doesn't sit well with their mom, voiced by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, now in a relationship with a local cop who is one of those centaurs, and yikes, what a thought that brings to mind in the boudoir. But anyway, the brothers are undaunted, especially when the younger one shows signs of inheriting dad's magical skills. Unfortunately, the spell goes wrong, leading to a series of lowbrow slapstick jokes that sometimes work and sometimes don't. And it's kind of hard to argue with the technical end of the movie. I mean, this is Pixar. They're the best on that front. They mix whimsical, kind of amazingly fluid characters amid settings that are both realistic and fanciful, and the movie makers' hearts are in the right place. But it's a tale that feels, it has that, it could have been told by DreamWorks or Blue Sky or Leica or a few other CGI animation houses. And we seldom say that about Pixar stuff. We occasionally say something like Kung Fu Panda is Pixar quality, but it doesn't often go in the other way around. And the movie drags here and there. That said, it's very well done of kind, and it's directed with a lot of heart by Dan Scanlon, even if it does get a tad self-indulgent and occasionally goes for a bit of cheap sentiment and obvious action. As ever, it's laudable family entertainment, as you kind of always expect from Pixar. So I give it a tentative, positive review. I love animation, and this certainly isn't among the worst of Pixar's films. I would say Cars and The Good Dinosaur fit the bill there. Anyway, moving on. Extraordinary is a movie that already came out in the UK, and it's a mix of comedy and horror and fantasy. And essentially, it's about a woman in a small town in England. Ireland, pardon me. She's a driving instructor, but she has supernatural skills, and she's still very much in touch spiritually with the messages laid down by her late ghost-busting paranormal activity expert father. Into this world, she is constantly trying to deny those skills. It's kind of the reverse of Onward, and she finds herself caught up with a local man who's being haunted by his ex-wife and whose daughter, a teenage virgin, is being used in an occult plan to bring an American rock star who's an expatriate some kind of success in the music business because he's been sort of a one-hit wonder, and he's going to make a deal with the devil by sacrificing this virgin, and his next album is going to be an unvarnished hit. And so she has to go basically on her own quest with the hapless father to try and find, ghost energy to defeat this crazy rock star. Rock star played by Will Forte of SNL. The rest of the actors in the movie are, I guess, Irish. I didn't know them very well, but I found it very charming and entertaining. And, not great, not something so memorable that you've got to go see it, but something that'll work well on video. Extraordinary. The next movie on our list of horrors is The Burnt Orange Heresy, and it's basically a movie set in the art world wherein an art critic played by Klaus Bang of Dracula, the recent Dracula TV show, has decided to somehow get an interview with a very, very, shall we say, hermit-like artist, and also acquire one of his works for a devious art collector. And the devious art collector is played by, of all people, Mick Jagger. The reclusive artist is played by Donald Sutherland, and the woman who gets involved in all of this is played by Elizabeth Debicki. So it's a really interesting cast. Italian director Giuseppe Capotondi does the work here, and it turns into sort of a film noir, almost a little bit like a Patricia Highsmith story. It's not great, but, I was constantly engaged, and the setting around Lake Como in Italy is beautiful, and there's a certain whimsical quality about, the setting and the intent. I wish it had been a little bit better, but The Burnt Orange Heresy, again, I think this is something that'll work pretty well on video. And it's interesting, again, to see the aging Mick Jagger in a dramatic role, albeit a small one. But he does pretty great playing smug, arrogant, and wealthy. I guess it comes easily. Finally, I want to recommend a little film by one of the finer directors of indie movies, Kelly Reichardt, who goes into some strange places. And in this case, First Cow is set in the Pacific Northwest way back in the day when there were fur trappers in the Oregon Territory. It's all about a cook who gets involved with a Chinese immigrant, and they're trying to make bank, and they find themselves caught up with a local landowner who they want to basically exploit because he has the one cow in the area. And this cow is prized above all others. The people love the milk and such. And these guys are basically making biscuits from the milk that are so delicious that the local sourdoughs, if you will, and fur trappers are dumping money into their laps because of these delicious biscuits. It's a remote Pacific Northwest location. But if it's found out that they are milking this cow, they are screwed. It was a very, very cool, very clever movie. Well shot, well acted. The only familiar actor amongst the people here, well, a couple actually. Toby Jones plays the rich bastard. And Ewan Bremner from Trainspotting is one of the locals. And, it's kind of got a very deliberate pace, but I thought it was beautifully done. First Cow, another fascinating film by Kelly Reichardt. What are you watching, buddy?
Nothing. I've just been sleeping a lot, that's all. Yeah.
How you feeling? You okay?
I'm tired.
Yeah, but you're kicking ass. I know you are, even in your fatigue.
I'm trying to.
I was very moved by watching the most recent episode of Picard that reunited him with Will Riker and Deanna Troi from the Enterprise shows. I highly recommend people catch up to Picard. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, also, the weirdest show on television is The New Pope over on HBO, which the last episode was terrific. Just terrific.
Wow, have you found religion?
No, it just happens to be a good show, except I could live without John Malkovich.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I guess we all have our taste. Anyway, you can check me out on Twitter at Culture Blaster and on Facebook at Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page, and here, happily, on GABNet, despite Mr. Bennett's attitude.
Yeah, go to GABNet.net and you'll be able to see his reviews or continue listening right here as we continue 24/7 with GABNet.